What is up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new spanking episode of Granny's Peach Tea. This is episode 16, the Cinco de Mayo edition. Jason, you got anything special in the peach tea for Cinco de Mayo, or?
No, it's just, it's a cerveza, but like not really. It's just a bud. It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing special. I should have gotten some Coronas or something, but I didn't, and then here we are with my normal Budweiser.
Oh darn! I mean, oh well. Beer is Budweiser is pretty nice. So you got Bud Heavy or Bud Light, or you got one special?
I went old school. I got Bud Ice. That's
Ice, my man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I'll tell you my quick story from Bud Ice. I was like 18. I was hanging. You remember Pete, right? So
yeah, of course.
Pete and I, good friends way back in the day, and we used to get 40s of Bud Ice. And the cemetery on Myrtle Avenue in Glendale, where we both grew up, they never locked the gate, so we would like sneak in the cemetery. We were 18 with 40s of Bud Ice. It was actually the first beer I drank, habitually. So I think that's why, like, every now and then I'm just like, I think I need a Bud Ice. I need a little nostalgia.
That's great. That is, yeah. I mean, that's right there with like Natty Ice, or I think Bud Ice is more of like the Ridgewood Glendale version of Bud Ice, right?
That's what it is. It is the Ridgewood Glendale version of Natty Ice. Look, it tastes a little better. I'm not saying it tastes good. Okay. It tastes a little better. I've had Natty Ice. Tastes a little better. It's still a fine Budweiser product.
Hey, listen, I was, what the hell was that Rick put me onto? It was the Lime-A-Ritas and that kind of crap. I was trying out for a little while. It was literally say on the can, try with ice. Pretty much, this shit is way too sweet. You need to have ice with it.
Water this down.
Please water, and it's no joke, because I had it without it, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought I was gonna be like instantly diabetic in 2 seconds. From that, it was really, really, really gross.
It's something about, I can't get behind sweet alcohol. Like, I mean, I guess for certain mixed drinks, but when I was younger, definitely I used to love the sweet drinks. But now it's like, I don't want a mixed drink. Give me a whiskey.
Yeah, I remember. Remember doing shots like Black House?
Oh my god, yes.
That's like the sweetest
Southern
ever.
Comfort.
Yeah,
Southern Comfort. Just the thought of SoCo turns my stomach.
I mean, I don't mind a Jaeger bomb occasionally. Honestly, I still think that's pretty good. But whatever.
Yeah, no, those. I still like car bombs too. Which
car bombs are nice. Yeah, car bombs are nice.
Not that I've had one in a very long time, but
you know something, man. I think maybe when we go see Black Widow, I think we might have to celebrate after with a car bomb. Maybe if a local bar is open, maybe we need to do that.
I think we should. Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us, wherever it is, if it's on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. If you're catching us on the audio version, whether it's on Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is, thanks for that. Much appreciated. I see Alex has joined in. Welcome back. I haven't seen Alex on our live show for a bit, so nice to see you there. So we got a lot of stuff to jump into. Unfortunately, not too much. We got a little MCU to talk about, but no MCU shows. We got CW Verse, which has got me and Jason super packed because they're running 5.
God, yeah,
5 is crazy.
That is crazy.
And then we're going to talk about another 2005 comic book movie, because we talked about Hancock a few weeks ago. We're going to get into Frank Miller's Sin City, which I discovered that there was a unrated, recut other version of it, and I'm like, I just keep stumbling into that.
I want to hear about this because I have it on DVD, so I just watched it there. But I'm curious because you've seen them both, so I'm curious what the differences are when we get there.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I think I'm going to just be that guy. I'm going to be the guy who watches whatever wacky version I find when I stumble upon the ones I don't own. And I'll do that, and it'll make for a better conversation when we talk about it.
I agree.
Let's ask. Alex has got a quick question for us. You guys reviewing the Loki series, dude? Of course,
absolutely,
of course.
Absolutely.
We're definitely going to be doing Loki, and it's moved up to quick note about Loki. If you haven't caught the news, we did share it on our Facebook page earlier, but it is moving to Wednesdays. They're going to be doing Wednesday drops, and our show happens to be on Wednesday. So we will be doing night of release spoiler shows. So be sure to check it out during the day. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, as many times as you can, and come check us out, and we could all dive into it together, man. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited doing the day of, because with
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier and with WandaVision, if I didn't get a chance to watch it twice, then I was completely dependent on your walkthrough, because I'd watch it Friday when it came out, and then we'd wait, like half a week, and I watch a lot of stuff for the show. So I'm excited to like go into the show with fresh Loki on my mind.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, I'll probably, knowing me, I'll probably still wake up a little early, try to check it out in the morning, and then attempt, if my day allows it, to squeeze in one more second watch before. But you never know. I mean, well, actually, hold on. Are you still going to be teaching in June 6th? Is it school?
Yeah, no, yeah. I go until my classes go. I think till the 14th is my last day of classes.
Okay.
And because I'm working from home, I don't know what my Regents Week is going to look like. So I don't actually finish teaching until like I'm out of the summer, like last week of June.
Okay, so I don't even remember. I don't recall how many episodes Loki's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be 6 or 9 off the top of my head. It's not ringing a bell. But maybe we can get some after that. And I still they haven't announced What If yet, which I'm guessing still is coming out after Loki.
Right. And I'm excited about that. I really am.
I'm very excited for What If. Really, really excited for What If. So I think it can get really crazy if they really want to push it there.
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if I said this on the show, but like not the majority, but one of the titles that I collected obsessively when I was younger was What If. So like I still have a lot of those what ifs, and it's funny because it was what ifs of storylines I didn't even know about, but it was still cool to see, like, there was like, what if the X-Men never left Asgard? And I'm like, I didn't even know they were in Asgard, but hey, why not?
Whatever.
Let's see what happens.
Exactly. No, I used to love What If, and they used to get really, really bizarre and things like that as time went on. Alex is saying he thinks that Loki has 6 episodes. I would say my guess would probably be 6 around that area, but we'll see. It looks great. I can't wait for that to jump in. Farachi, yo, what is up, man? I know Put It in the Books was off tonight due to the Mets doubleheader, but I know Farachi's probably enjoying some Mets baseball at home, so we will see. And then Alex, let's see. I think they're doing a What If Peggy got frozen from the elements of the trailer. I'm gonna say is the I know I think it's the first episode of What If, but I know, and I think we talked about it on here. Oh boy, Tim has got one here. I'll jump into it in a second. What if the Hulk's pants always came off? Yeah, that might be a what if for another corner of the unrated Marvel universe that Disney doesn't have.
I can answer that question. We'd have the Hulk on this, like the sex offender registry. That's what we'd have if the Hulk's pants always came off.
That is true. Or, for Tim, what if the Lizard didn't have a lab coat and purple pants every single time? I mean, who knows? That's Tim really hates the Lizard because of the lab coat. He does. He hates him because of that.
But how else would we know he's a doctor if he didn't have the lab coat?
Exactly. I would be so confused on who Dr. Connors is.
Right. I'd be like, what is this, Mr. Connors? Is this Roseanne I'm watching? No, I need to know he's the Lizard.
But I know one of the what ifs they're definitely doing is what if Peggy took the super soldier serum and then Steve stayed skinny, but then Steve ends up becoming technically Iron Man because Howard builds him a suit. And then goes ahead and I know that's one of them. And she's like Captain Britain or something like that. Obviously not Captain America then. So she has they showed her shield and stuff like that. So that was cool. And I know there's one with what if T'Challa was the Star-Lord? So I guess they come and take him instead. I'm not sure how that. I don't know if Quill. I don't know where that leaves Quill then. I don't know if it's the other way around. And I know there's one where they're doing a Marvel Zombies episode where Bucky fights the rest of everyone else turns zombified.
That's awesome. Have you ever read the Evil Dead crossover where Ash is in the Marvel universe and he's got the Necronomicon and it starts zombieism and one by one all of the heroes become zombies?
I didn't. I did read the first two of Marvel Zombies though.
Okay.
The arcs. I did read the first two because I heard after that it got kind of silly. They played it out after but I know Robert Kirkman was involved in the Marvel Zombies, the first couple of them too. So I thought that was really cool. The first one, they're really good. It's really some really messed up shit that happens in there.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's like you find out that like Peter ended up, he's like all messed up and everything because he ended up eating like MJ and Aunt May.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they get really dark. They get really dark, man. Yeah. I don't think they're going that dark with this, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I highly doubt it.
This is Disney.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the comic books can do a whole lot of other things, but all right, before we jump into CW, though, we got some comments coming in quickly. That's Stan Lee's Late Night Hulk.
Yeah. That's right. Hulk After Dark.
Hulk After Dark is all that. That's exactly what it is. Hulk After Dark. Tim is still anti Dr. Connors. No, no. He's still going. No, if Dr. Connor was wearing a tracksuit and turned into the lizard, the lab coat would come out of nowhere, like Optimus Prime's trailer. That is hilarious and 100% true.
It is. It is.
But Farachi is not enjoying Met Spaceful. All right, I guess they must have dropped the first one, though. Sorry there, Farachi. Well, let's jump into the CW because that's our jam. That's kind of what we do. And speaking of wacky shows, DC has one of their own. They have a couple of wacky ones. But DC's Legends of Tomorrow season 6 premiered this past Sunday. They're now like the lead-in for Batwoman. As somebody who has not, because I've seen all of Legends, and I'll share I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on here. Jason, so you only saw season 1, and then you jumped right into this one.
I saw season 1 and 2.
Oh, 1 and 2. Okay.
I saw 1 and 2, and then I jumped into this one.
Mm-hmm.
I finished my Supergirl watch, so now I'm in the third season of this. But I watched this before I jumped into the third season.
Okay.
It was very much for me like when I watched Supergirl, like for the first time. I was like, the fuck is going on? Like, this was not the show that I was watching.
No.
Like this. I knew Victor Garber wasn't there because he did die in one of the Infinite crossovers, on the Flash. So I had seen that, but like I didn't realize his partner Jefferson was gone. I didn't realize the Atom was gone. I only know 3 characters, and one of them's Constantine. I don't even know him as a Legend of Tomorrow. I know him as Constantine.
Yeah, exactly.
But having said that, I'm not really knowing the characters much except for the 3. I thought this was an entertaining episode. Is this the first we've ever heard that Gary is an alien?
Funny you say that because that is the comment that we got in there. That is 100% the first time that we've heard of that because he was kind of like Constantine's like sidekick for a little while, and he was like understudy, kind of like teaching him stuff and things like that. So that's what we got from Gary recently. Otherwise, this has been kind of like the goofball of the show. I mean, there's a couple of them, but Gary's like the goofball understudy kind of guy. I did not see that one coming at all. I did not see that they were going to have Gary be some like alien and things like that. I've been so-so with the character anyway, so I don't really have any like strong feelings one way or the other about that reveal. But I think this show is always entertaining. I mean, I know some fans are kind of like, oh, it's stupid or something like that. It's fun and it's smart and it's self-aware, which is why I dig it.
You know what I mean? It's very self-aware, which I do like that about it.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of like, listen, the premise of the show is completely insane. So let's just keep on. Every season, they keep on getting crazier and crazier and crazier with the premise. And honestly, I think the show's been the better for it every season. And I actually laughed out loud when they showed David Bowie in 1977 because they go back because it made me think of Alex Danvers. On Supergirl. I was like, they're seeing it. They're seeing the David Bowie insanity that I saw.
Although I think the woman who plays Alex Danvers looks more like David Bowie than the guy they hired to play him in this episode.
Yeah, he definitely did not look like him.
No, not at all.
Whatever. Yeah, they have some interesting people casting choices that they have as some of the well-known, because like George Lucas is in an episode that I'm sure you'll see at one point, because there's something where like, oh, what if Star Wars didn't happen? And obviously it inspired Ray and a lot of the other guys in the show. So like, damn it, how could I do this without Star Wars? So things like they see that as a threat and they have to like reset it and change that. So I thought that was cool. I know like Al Capone appeared on Legends of Tomorrow also.
Okay. I saw one with LBJ.
Yeah.
When they went to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
and one with Hedy Lamarr. So yeah, you're right. They have some crazy like guest spots.
And honestly though, but that's I think is part of the fun of the show.
Oh, yeah.
I think out of all the CW shows, this one is the most like fun because they're just like whatever, something. Let's just embrace it and just get really crazy and see how far we can push this damn thing.
They swing for it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. I think Ava's checklist, what I thought was really funny, when she's like
funny.
pushing them to do every little thing. Yeah. And just going along and just like she knows them so well. I thought that was great. There's a DEO reference that we got in there, so that was pretty cool.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then my other note from it was like Gary's an alien. I mean, we also saw Spartacus, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. We saw Spartacus get eaten, which I thought was really. I thought they were setting him up to be someone. No, you just get eaten. And I like the line that Gary gives, like, "Oh no, he wasn't one of them. He was my boss's lunch." Like that was what he was there for.
Oh man, it's just they just really embrace the nuts in that sense. So you would say, like, are you excited to continue your rewatch after seeing kind of like what this show has become?
Yeah, I am. I definitely am. I want to find out who these new characters are that I don't know. Because again, most of the original legends are not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm a couple episodes into season 3, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm having fun with it, and I'm excited to continue going. And I want to see how it gets this nuts, because it's not this nuts yet in the 3rd season. No. They're still dicking around with Damien Dark. They brought him back to life, and that's a character I'm just completely over. Because I also watched him when he was on Arrow, and he was also in like I think the 1st season of this show. But I'm sure I'm looking forward to him being gone and watching them just go balls to the wall crazy.
Yeah, Damien. I'm just gonna give you a heads up. Damien Dark lingers on and off for a little bit.
Okay.
Jonathan Hamilton. It's funny how this was supposed to be a limited series, and now we're up to season 6. I love it. I 100% agree, Jonathan. I know it was only supposed to be like a limited thing where it looks like characters from other shows that were not like they were kind of just not going to use anymore and just throw them together, but they just ran with it, and it's just it really is crazy, and it's honestly cool that these characters have got the time of day and the light on them to shine this time around.
I agree. I'm very happy to see Constantine, because I liked that Constantine show that didn't last very long. I actually meant to bring it on. I have that action figure of that actor as Constantine. Yeah, I have most of the CW ones. I have the Melissa Benoist Supergirl, and I have I forget the guy's name, but the guy who plays the Flash. But I meant to bring the Constantine because I know you like the character, and I'll bring it next week. But I'm excited that he's got a place to go, because that's a cool character.
Nice. This is the Constantine I have that came with the Blu-ray of the Constantine City of Demons.
Nice
thing right there. No, Matt Ryan is awesome. He is so awesome as Constantine. I really enjoy his take on it. And then apparently so does Jonathan. I wish they would revive it. Yeah. Matt Ryan is awesome. I know he voices Constantine and all the animated stuff that they do. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to watch. You can tell he's just like he's really all in on it. All right, so why don't we get into Batwoman season 2, episode 12.
Wow.
We are at episode 12. We're going to talk about the 12th episode of Batwoman that we have covered. Yes, you have. I like this week's episode. I actually think the show's getting pretty good, to tell the truth. Like, not great or anything, but I think they're finding their way, man. And I think we got Kate Kane back. Not just mentions, we actually got Kate Kane back. As she is we knew that she was with Black Mask and Enigma, and then they end up like hypnotizing her to think that she is Black Mask's daughter who passed away, Cersei Sionis.
Which I'm not clear. Why did he need Kate Kane for that? Like, what's the point? Like,
well, I'm assuming that's something they'll address. Why specifically Kate Kane? Or
okay, I thought maybe they missed it.
No. They didn't get into it too much here, but I'm gonna guess that there's probably a reason. I mean, I don't know if it's maybe because Kate has combat skills or something like that. Because because she did Kate Kane. We got Kate Kane versus Batwoman.
Yeah,
we actually did. And Tony is here joining us.
Tony,
as he comes running in with his Loki pop. What is up, Tony? You got here just in time for Batwoman.
Oh, my favorite! Oh, I'm so excited! I was hanging with my boy Loki. You know, we had some Loki news, so I figured me and Loki hang out and join the show together. So, hi guys,
Nice. What's
How's it
up,
going?
dude?
what's going on?
Not much. It's talking a little Batwoman. Another episode that we enjoyed.
Episode that you enjoyed? Okay, good. I can't wait to hear this. Let's.
Yeah, we're probably like what 3, 4, 5 in a row that I think we're digging.
I think it's 3 in a row. I'll give you that. So that's good. That's good.
Again, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but they let Batwoman be Batwoman, and it wasn't the Kate Kane show, which has been my whole problem with this series. But I agree with you. I like this episode. It was fine. Like, again, I like the Black Mask stuff. I like this Batwoman. I thought I liked seeing Papa Crow all strung out. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. I liked the exchange between him and his daughter, his stepdaughter, and like how he kind of glosses over some stuff in her new medical facility that is against, she's like, no, I don't. Well, he was fine with it. I didn't think he would be. So it's kind of showing the repercussions of his drug use. I like that. I thought this was a solid episode. I enjoyed what I didn't hate watching it. I enjoyed it.
I also enjoyed the Alice and Batwoman team up. I actually thought the dynamic was really entertaining.
I did too. And I thought it was stone cold that Batwoman just straight out leaves Alice to Cyanus's gang. Like, no remorse. Like, wow.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like Batman Begins when towards the end where Batman leaves. Wow. And on the train, he goes at it and leaves Ra's al Ghul. Pretty much like, I don't have to save you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
Yeah, there's a line that's similar to that's in there. So that's what it was actually. I thought it was pretty cool, and I think because that's something when Kate was Batman. That's something. I mean, Batwoman. That's something she never would have done, being that's her actual sister and everything. So I think that's kind of what lends this to be a better version of things, where you have the villain over here and then you have the hero, but they don't have that like connection. So therefore, it's kind of like all bets are off. But I thought their team up was I thought that was highly entertaining. The Kate Kane versus Batwoman fight, I thought was really cool. I mean, there was a lot of layers to that. I thought that was cool. But I do have my WTF moment of the week.
Let's hear it.
And I was curious, did you have one or no?
Not really. I mean, this whole show tends to be a WTF moment for me, just because even when it's good, it's absurd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I didn't clock anything specific. So I'm excited to hear what you have.
All right. So Sophie finds an empty box that's labeled Snakebite. It's got like that S on it. And she goes into Commander Kane's office. She happens to go into she finds this white box with an S on it. So it's obviously what it's meant to be. And then goes to the waste paper basket right next to his desk, and he leaves the empty Snakebite vials in there. Really?
I didn't notice that.
Really?
I didn't notice that.
Come on, dude. Really? Stop with that. That's just stupid, man. Completely stupid.
I didn't even notice that. That is so dumb.
Let's get to Jonathan's comment here. I'm really looking forward to seeing the dark road Jacob Kane is going down. Yeah, he's all strung out on Snakebite and whatever. It's going to be an epic fall with probably one hell of a redemption afterwards. Jonathan, that's actually a really, really good point.
Yeah.
If they nail it right, as long as they don't do something completely off the rails and kind of goofy with it, I think they do. They are setting themselves up for some really cool shit moving forward. So I think I'm feeling a little bit better that the show can kind of rebound and find its footing in whatever it is. I'm curious to see what they have planned long term, because my guess is that Kate is going to be snapped out of her, whatever it is,
right.
Trance or whatever the hell she was in, and that she was hypnotized. She was going to be snapped out by fighting Alice or some shit like that, or fighting Batwoman. The visuals there are probably going to trigger her to be like, okay, I remember who I am and everything like that. And that's when we'll get to see, the new recasted Kate Kane. All right, so then right after that, it takes us to the Monday CW show, Black Lightning Season 4, Episode 10. Jason, what'd you think of this one?
I like this one overall. I thought this was a good one. I do want to. So when we last left our intrepid family, all three of them had lost their powers and were about to be killed. So Jefferson Black Lightning was fighting Ishmael. The wrap up of that I thought was cool. Like he kind of just brings it to him without his powers, and holds his own. And like he goes stealthy. So I like that fight. I thought it was fine when like Jennifer's fiance pushed her out of the way of the car. I thought that was no, was that I get them confused. No, that was Anissa, right? Anissa was the
Anissa.
one.
Anissa.
So Anissa gets pushed out of the way. I thought that was fine, but the whole bubble in Jennifer's suit thing, like, came out of nowhere. Like that was just way too convenient. And they try to explain it later, like, well, after your father fell out of the ionosphere, I put that in all of your suits. But it's like, come on, that was a bit too convenient. But that's really my only gripe with it. I thought again we got more painkiller, which I thought was cool. I like the painkiller is a bit claustrophobic.
Yes.
I thought that was a really nice character moment. We got a little Wu-Tang during the painkiller fight.
Woo!
Which that was
baby.
You got to protect your neck. So I was very excited about that. That was a cool fight scene. We see, let's see, what's another? Tobias takes over the Cobra Gang from the woman who put Lala in the cement, and he actually has Lala in the cement. Yeah. I was gonna say that you owe me a vase. That was a nutso moment because for those who haven't watched it, Tobias takes out his gun and tells his meta, whose power is to sort of move things with his hand, to deflect the bullet. And he does. And he's okay. Now take off your attachment that was allowing him to do it, because Tobias took everyone's powers away. And then he aims at him, fires it, hits the vase behind him, and goes, "I wasn't going to hit you, you fool. Oh, by the way, you owe me a vase." It's like, what? What's the logic of that? But that's why I love Tobias, because he is just insane like that. But but I thought this was a solid episode. All that stuff I mentioned I liked, and Jen eventually gets her powers sort of back because she electrocutes herself. I have to admit the character of Jennifer is kind of getting on my nerves this season, because like she gets her powers back by electrocuting herself and then decides to go back into the ionosphere, and it's a lot of like, but I can't come down, but I can't. And it's like isn't that how you body switch the first time? Like, yeah, but I think overall it's a strong episode. I think I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I mean you hit a lot of the points that I had my notes on too. I thought it was another strong episode. That Ishmael character, by the way, completely turning on the Cobra Gang, going right to Tobias, I thought was great. His whole Ishmael thing, I think, is really crazy and kind of out there, and I just kind of love it. I do love it. And the fact that he's trying to get into the League of Assassins, I think, is great, because that tells the League of Assassins is still going. So
I actually really like that character. I enjoy that character a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty bonkers, that guy. All right, so that takes us to The Flash, season 7, episode 8. An episode where we got to see Barry and the Speed Force, essentially, that is in the form of his mother, Nora. They're kind of teaming up, and they're trying to track down Fuerza. I guess it's the Strength Force or whatever I think they're calling it, the Power Force. I know it's like just the different forces like that. And then you have basically the trial of Frost on the other side. Like, literally they go out an entire trial, and then they want to basically go ahead, and her sentence is to have her take the the metahuman cure, and it would pretty much wipe that out, or she's going to pretty much go to jail, for life. And that's pretty much what ends up happening. She opts to go to jail for life. She doesn't want to change who she is and everything like that. She wants to keep her meta abilities and everything. So that's that part. Overall, though, I don't think really an episode that kind of like forwarded the overall story too much, outside of maybe the Speed Force stuff, because the Speed Force seems kind of shady. I kind of thinking there's something going on with her, and there's some other ulterior motive that we're not seeing out front. And she's kind of like pushing Barry's buttons. Doesn't really like a couple of people that are in the team. It kind of seems like she's jealous, of Iris.
Yeah.
In the episode. Yeah.
Right? What does she say? You're his lightning rod, but I'm the lightning.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, holy shit, man, that's kind of nuts because she's
And
right.
and that's a crazy scene too, because she attacks Iris to trick Barry into attacking her, so
Yep.
she could take his electricity and kill. Who was it that she killed? Which force was that?
Oh yeah, the Forza character. Yeah, that was like the Strength Force or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like Power Force or some crap like
Yeah,
that.
the one that turns into that big thing that that we saw in like the first episode with Abracadabra in it
Yes.
in this
Yes.
season. So that was very shady. That was kind of cold blooded. I thought it was probably the coolest moment of the episode.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing. Well, actually, it's funny, Jonathan. You got to bring up a good point though regarding that. I heard a rumor that she might actually be the first Flash. That is kind of what I've been thinking because I know there's been rumblings around online about the potential that Thawne is back in the picture this season. By the end of the season, he will be. That maybe that is that is Thawne in disguise. So I think that's a possibility. I don't think the Speed Force is exactly who she's saying she is at all. There's some kind of like weird ulterior thing, and Thawne, that seems like something he would be right up his alley, that he would kind of need to pose himself as the Speed Force itself. And Alex coming in here too. I heard 2 actors leaving the show after the season. Alex, that is our next thing we're going to talk about before moving on. Tom Cannavale and I think it's Carlos Valdez who plays Cisco. So Cisco and the guy who also plays Thawne. And he played various versions of
Wells.
Yeah, of Dr. Wells.
Yeah, Dr. Wells.
They're both heading out, and there's been rumors of them for a while heading out. I know Carnival pretty much wrapped up his contract as a show regular a while ago, so he's been kind of like hanging around here and there as like a guest star.
I was going to ask, do you think he's going to come back as Thawne this season, or is he done this season?
I guess he's done. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they even said he's leaving before the season even ends. So we're going to the last of him is going to be a lot earlier than just going through it. And then Cisco, I guess, is going to make it through the season. Maybe the finale is going to be the last that we see of him. So 2 big characters that are heading off the show. But I mean, they have enough characters to supplement it. Because Team Flash is like 60 people at this point.
Oh yeah. It's like the Avengers. Everyone's Team Flash. I'm Team Flash. Going there after the show.
I was like around season 3, but then I don't know. I had to go and jump over to like Team Arrow at one point, and then I got preoccupied. And they were like, "Hey, why don't you do Granny's Peach Tea?" And I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll do that." All right, so then I guess the last CW show of the week that we had here is Supergirl. Still stuck in the Phantom Zone. Yeah, we get another episode.
Another Supergirl-less episode. Another episode without Melissa Benoist. It was a fine episode. I mean, I was entertaining. I thought those blue guys were fun villains. I thought I finished my Supergirl watch, so I'm caught up on like what Brainy and Dreamer's relationship is. So that was kind of nice to see them kind of get together at the end there. It was interesting. I didn't see them setting up young Cat Grant. I thought that was interesting.
Highlight of the episode for me.
I agree. And as I was watching that actress act, I'm like, you have watched that first season to study Callista Flockhart because she had her Cat Grant down perfectly. So it was a fun episode, but again, I don't know what we're doing here halfway through the last season. What are we, 7 episodes into the last season, and what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they got started off really strong the first episode or 2, but again, as soon as Kara went into the Phantom Zone, it's like the show went into the Phantom Zone. I don't know. They've just been kind of like spinning their wheels quite a bit.
How do you have a show about Supergirl and then Supergirl's not in the show? Like, isn't that kind of crazy?
Especially in the last season, and I kind of think, well, there's a younger Kara Danvers in both of these last 2 episodes. Don't get me wrong; we're being literal when we say no Supergirl, meaning actual Supergirl in costume, current timeline, and things like that. But there's been a younger Kara Danvers, and it just seems like her storyline of being in the Phantom Zone is just in the Phantom Zone in general. Yeah. It's just bizarre. I don't know. It's like
it's infinite. That's
is.
infinite. It seems like
Yeah,
because
it's just
I haven't
kind
been
of
on his I haven't been on his show in 2 weeks, and she's still there. So I don't.
And she was on probably episodes before you haven't been here.
Yes.
So I mean, it's just crazy.
I thought it was 2 episodes before, and then it's been 2 episodes, and now this one. I mean, it's like 5 weeks. We get this chick out of the Phantom Zone.
She's literally been in the Phantom Zone since the end of the first episode, right? That's when Lex blasts her in there.
Yeah, and I think, Jonathan, I 100% agree with your comment here. If this wasn't the last season, I think Supergirl being stuck in the Phantom Zone would be fine. But again, yeah, we're agreeing with you 100%, dude. It's just the fact that it's the last season.
Right.
You kind of just need to go all in, gangbusters. Just go all out, man.
Younger Kara is fine, but like you're watching the show for, Melissa Benoist to be Supergirl. Like that's the character that you've been, people have been watching for 5 years. You don't want her to spend half the last season off camera. Like that's just that it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
And again, it strikes me that she must be off doing something else, because even when she's in the Phantom Zone, she's not interacting with the team. It's like I don't understand. Like unless she's not there, I don't understand the reasoning for having her separated from the team for so long. Because I just watched all those past seasons, and part of the charm of those past seasons is the interaction of the team. It's how they go with each other and how they figure stuff out together. So having her not interact with the team just boggles my mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she's hanging out with Kate Kane.
Yeah.
Hey, no, listen. Kate Kane technically came back before Kara did. Now
that's true.
How about that?
That shit's crazy. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
New actress and all. They recast it in the time.
And she's back faster.
Woo.
Yeah, that's some pretty wacky stuff. But overall, I think my favorite part of the episode was the young Cat Grant. Actually, over the last 2 episodes that she's been in, because like you said, she's nailed Krista Flockhart perfectly. Like every nuance, everything, and I like the fact she's in this episode. She pretty much gets the name of going from it's like CJ Grant to Cat Grant.
Yeah,
he's yelling at Perry, and she writes "Cat Go Down," and she was the cougar in Dreamer's Dreams. I thought that was actually hilarious.
That was funny, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm sorry, hold on one second. What was that? Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go ahead and let's discuss this crazy trailer that the MCU dropped on us completely out of left field on Monday morning. It was pretty much like a Phase 4 trailer. I know Tony snatched it up that morning and shared it on the Facebook group. Thanks, Tony, for that. Yeah. So overall, I mean, I would say it was a good description of it. We got the, they covered Black Widow. They got first footage of Eternals. They touched on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I know some fans were supposedly annoyed about no Spider-Man No Way Home footage.
Not a frame of that showed up.
Yeah. So
not a frame of that showed up.
But they're kind of working on the movie. So I think, listen, if it's not ready for this thing, that's it. Because the goal of the thing, too, was, hey, Phase 4 is coming. This is what we got for you. And also, I think a lot of things, I know Fast and the Furious, they also did another, let's get back to the movies and let's kind of reinvigorate the movies thing, which I think is really cool. And the voiceover by Stan Lee, I thought was really cool to get you kind of hyped. Every time you hear Stan Lee talking about stuff now, you just goosebumps and you get all excited and everything like that. But some of the bigger reveals, too, besides the Eternals footage, was we got official titles for the Captain Marvel sequel is going to be known as The Marvels, which is supposed to feature Miss Marvel and also, Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, who in the comics at one time is also a Captain Marvel as well. So I think that's really cool that they changed that and they're all being featured in it together. And we got a title for the sequel of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And the big drop at the end with no release date. And some people were actually annoyed by no release date. Kind of hard to do that when you haven't announced a cast or even started filming or anything like that. But, yeah. So it looks like that they have a director. They have, John Watts. That's doing the Spider-Man.
That's right. John Watts is doing it.
That's all they have. Even though we're all expecting John Krasinski and Emily Blunt and everything like that. But none of that is official, no matter how many times we got this covered wants to tell you. It is 100% not the case at the moment. We're all hoping still.
Episode 10 of WandaVision is going to be John Krasinski.
Yeah. So he's just gonna be like strolling around, walking.
Yeah, no,
aimlessly.
he's going to be the he's going to be the narrator of the episode. So it's going to bring us up to speed on what's been going on since episode 9. We're still waiting for Krasinski to show up. I'm still waiting for him and Magneto.
Exactly, and don't forget Mephisto
and Mojo.
And Mojo. I was going to say, don't forget Mojo.
No. Krasinski is going to end up being Mojo. You watch.
I would love that. I would love it.
Yeah, Alex, that's pretty much what we were just saying too. Yeah. The last, we're assuming that Fantastic Four will be the closeout movie of Phase 4 of the MCU. So we'll see that, because there's also a bunch of shows that'll be tied in. So Kevin Feige's always got his shit planned together. So everything's pretty tight. It looks great. So what did you guys think of the Eternals footage? I mean, that's the one that's kind of like front and center. That's we're getting this year. That was like new stuff.
I'm happy it's on Earth. I mean, that was a little bit of a shock. I thought it may be a little more cosmic, as as we know the Eternals have been. But I was very happy to see that they were on Earth. And hey, look, man. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot of leeway for them to go with the story. And they got a great cast. I mean, they got a really, really good cast. Yeah. And they look great. So, I mean, look, it's about 4.5 seconds of footage, but from what I saw of it, I was bought in before, but I'm definitely bought in now that I had even just a sneak peek of it. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
Jason, what did you think of your first look?
Well, here's the thing: is I actually forgot to watch this trailer before we came on, because I famously don't watch trailers. Like
I know.
Unless I get a text from you saying watch this trailer, we're doing it on the show. I try to avoid trailers, and I knew we were going to do it, and I meant to watch it before I came on, and I just forgot. But here's the thing: it's
a teaser, not a trailer. It was a teaser. You could watch it and feel confidence that you're not going to have anything spoiled. It's just a teaser.
But here's the thing: it doesn't matter. I'm going to see them all anyway. I'm excited about them all anyway. That's why it doesn't matter.
I know, but now you have a professional responsibility to all of these people who watch the show every week, because they want to hear what you have to say there, my friend. I want to hear what you have to say, let alone everybody else, and I get to talk to you every week. So
I'll watch it and text you guys. So my apologies to the audience.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with it, though. Even though, or maybe some will get more excited, because apparently there was someone in our Facebook group on Saturday night I was being referred to as a shill for Marvel.
I saw that.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Yes, I know, and it's funny because that's part of the reason I wore a Marvel T-shirt and a hat this week. This is to reinforce the fact that I'm a Marvel shill, and I'm invested
behind your head there. That's great.
Oh my god! And wait a second, Batman, what is he doing there? I'm gonna lose my connection with Marvel.
You're done.
I thought the rumor was that we were a DC podcast.
That's my point. I can't get it straight. I mean, I know we have a Marvel background, maybe that's what it is, but we were getting called the DC show because we went literally through the entire DCEU
leading up to the last DCEU movie. Yeah.
And we spent 2 episodes talking about the Snyder Cut. And wait a second, we have massive DC content because we talk about the CW verse literally every single week, every single episode. I don't know if that show thing's really going to quite work out for you, but
But let me
we only fawned upon 19 episodes of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean,
that's it.
I mean, really,
because I liked it. It's bad. That means I'm a shill automatically. And the best part about it though is because it was set photos that leaked that we had shared on the Facebook page that were of Miss Marvel.
Yep.
And because I didn't think it was bad, my reaction was like, "Yo, how about I understand her suit is homemade in the comic books." But we also know the MCU takes liberties with things. They don't go word for word and panel for panel. So maybe we wait and see if it's a homemade suit or not, because maybe it's not. So I was just kind of like, hey, maybe you should hold off on that and see what the MCU is doing. Oh, you're a shill because you didn't hate it and because you know, this and that, because you just keep enjoying everything Marvel. I'm like, so Marvel does good shit, so I should say bad things.
Yeah, I mean, Ed, really, in all seriousness, you're the only one that really sticks up for Marvel. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we all know this is true.
Jason and I are constantly shitting on these people, but
All of
really,
it,
it's
all of
it's only you. So
It's
I mean,
only me, right?
knock it off. All right,
I'm
please.
sorry.
You know,
I do
knock it off.
apologize. I do apologize.
All right?
I'm sorry for liking the Marvel Cinematic Universe. My bad.
It's getting crazy now. I mean, they've only made like more money than has ever been printed before.
That's because
really,
I buy the tickets.
Because
I buy the tickets. That's why.
Because nobody really likes their shit to begin with. So really,
No.
I mean, come on now.
I buy all the tickets to the movies. That's why.
It is. It's just
every single movie.
It's just you, bro. Just you. Knock that shit off.
I want to go on record as saying, though I'm not a Marvel shill, if Marvel wants me to shill for them, I'm on board. If Marvel wants me on the payroll shilling, let me tell you, I will. Silver Surfer. Yeah, let me tell you about the Silver Surfer. He's the greatest superhero ever. I'll shill for Marvel if they want me.
Let me tell you about Wonder Man and how awesome he is.
I got 3 words. West Coast Avengers.
Yes.
Boom. Which you might see at some point in the near future.
You might. But no, we'll show for them. That's fine. I would love Marvel, please. I would love to be on your payroll.
Where's Faraci? Get Faraci on here. We need to talk to him.
No, Faraci's going to lose us because we're going to be working for Marvel.
Yeah, he'll understand. He'll gladly sign us over. Every time we get one of these ideas, I'm always calling for Faraci.
Exactly.
Get his ass on here. Let's talk to him. Come on.
Faraci, we actually haven't had Faraci officially on the show yet, but I think he was kind of waiting for like a Spider-Man thing to do. So we'll get. I mean, you're talking to this guy. It's going to be hard for me not to talk about Spider-Man. I've been really, really holding off on doing that.
Waiting for the right time. Homecoming rewatch.
Exactly. There you go. Or when we talk about like Nicholas Hammond's Spider-Man at some point, because that is definitely going to happen, and we're going to have ropes, and we're going to have 70s disco music, and he's going to be fighting ninjas. You wait, Tony. Wait until we watch that shit. But I'm going to tell you how much I love it because I'm a shill for Marvel, though. That's why. I didn't say any of that.
You shilling bastard.
Yeah, I'm a total sellout. Speaking of me being a sellout, that's why we're going to talk about quick updates on the new Superman movie that dropped early. I think it was a Hollywood Reporter. So the two big takeaways from this story that saw was the fact that I know they're looking into this is referring to they announced that they're going to be doing like a Black Superman, and they're still looking for a director. They're hoping to. I don't know if they're going to try. No, they can't get Ryan Coogler because Ryan Coogler is kind of signed up with Marvel. I'm curious to see where they would go with this. And actually, Spike Lee may have put his foot in his mouth because he talked about how whack DCU was. DC was a couple of months ago, and he loves Marvel, so they probably won't be looking at him anytime soon either. So that kind of sucks. Even though I would kind of like to see him do a comic book movie because I really like Spike Lee's work. So I would be curious to see him doing maybe the new Blade because they don't have a director.
Inside Man, bro. Think about that. Inside Man is a comic book movie. Get Clive Owen in there. Oh, come on. That'd be great. That'd be great. Clive Owen and Denzel on bring them back.
The big topics, though, especially for things that we've talked about, is they've said this is not in the DCEU. It's going to be an Elseworlds film.
Awesome. That's what we were hoping, right?
That's what we were kind of alluding to. That it would be like the Batman. It's not they're replacing Henry Cavill. That they're bringing in addition, which is we were kind of like that's kind of what we were saying the whole time. We didn't think
if you're going to do this, and look, DC can play dumb, deaf, and blind as much as they want. They know that Henry Cavill has got a loyal fan base within the DCEU, so they're just looking to pile on with this. They're not looking to do any replacements or whatnot. And besides the fact that they'd have to make so many changes between how did this happen, where did this come from? It's a totally different character. Yes, it's Superman, but it's not Clark Kent. It's a different character. So they'd have to make so many course corrections. It makes sense that you want to make another I mean, I personally, and I've said this a million times, I would they should be making another Henry Cavill Superman movie before this Superman movie comes out because it continues on the story that you're already telling. That being said, you know how I feel about Superman. I'm very excited about this. I'm very happy the fact that they're making another Superman movie. But show Henry Cavill some love and get this going here. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the takeaway from the show is that since it's not in the DCU, that Henry Cavill was still going. There's still a chance.
That's
telling
what
us
I'm
there's
thinking.
a chance.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
that
hoping.
we could have both, and that's what I'm really excited for in this. And I'm curious to see because I know Michael B. Jordan's been like swirling around this movie and stuff like that. And my guess is that's ultimately who's going to end up being the Superman, and that'll be cool. I like Michael B. Jordan a lot.
Oh,
I like a lot of stuff he's done. Besides Fan Four Stick, but we all. By the way, speaking of Fan Four Stick, I guess I'm going to bring up Fan Four Stick. I was on a Zoom call with my company last Friday, right? They did like a pub quiz, and it came up as the answer to a trivia question. It was like this 2015 superhero film replaced like it's one of their letters with the number 4, and I'm just like
Fan Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick. I mean, come on, people. And I'm in a team with like my boss and my boss's boss, and it was just like, really? And my boss is like, look behind him. Look what he has behind him. Are you serious? Of course he knows this.
It's funny that you brought this up because we were doing that for a while, early pandemic days on our usual Thursday kind of social together. Yeah. We were doing pub quizzes, and then whoever won the week before would get to do the following weeks. So I did one on, of course, what do you think? Movie trivia. So yeah. At some point or another, I got to send that shit to you guys because I want to see how you do on my quiz because I put a lot of time.
We can do that in an episode. We can make that.
You know what? I'll do it right. I'll share my screen. I got a whole PowerPoint. I put pictures and shit. It's all crazy. You're gonna love that. That's really it's fun.
That's all. Jason, I'm sorry. What were you were gonna chime in before?
I was gonna say that Michael B. Jordan is the best part of Fan Four Stick. Like this was even before I knew who he was. When I watched that movie, and I went, "Wow, that whoever that dude is who's playing Johnny Storm is the only one who's really trying to do something in this movie." So, and then of course I got to know who he was because he did like Creed, which is an amazing movie, and he's of course amazing in Black Panther. So I think if they put him in the Superman movie, I think they've got something.
Yeah, I definitely think they really would have something. I'm pulling for him. I really want him to get this thing, and curious to see this. And I would love to see him, and then I want to see Henry Cavill Superman continue and stuff like that. And I know that's going to hurt my Marvel shilling to say that, but I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I'm just hoping to see some new cool Superman content. Jonathan is, speaking of cool Superman content, let's just make Nicolas Cage Superman. Yes. As John Schnepp, rest in peace.
God rest his soul.
Yes. And he looked into it. If you didn't get a chance, if you're interested in Nicolas Cage Superman, check out the John Schnepp. What is it like? What was the title of it? Go ahead.
Hold on. I'll find it. Let me find it. It's
excellent documentary.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get that right now.
And then before we transition to tomorrow's the 5th anniversary of Avengers, Captain America: Civil War, I believe.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, and today's
is in Avengers: Infinity War. I actually didn't see. I know the anniversary, the 9th anniversary of the Avengers, was yesterday.
Yep.
Released on May 4th. And by the way, gentlemen, May the 4th be with you.
Yes, and also with you.
And then today is Revenge of the 5th.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Cinco de Mayo.
I know. We were discussing. We were kind of disappointed. I should have had a Corona up here and
or margarita, whatever. By the way, the name of that documentary we were talking about, "The Death of Superman Lives." Yes. What happens? What happened? John Schnepp was. If you don't know who John Schnepp is, John Schnepp was one of the preeminent, one of the original comic book gurus. Was on Collider Movie Talk with John Campia and Christian Harloff, and when Collider Movie Talk was the preeminent comic movie show that was on YouTube that before it was absolutely destroyed. But Schnepp was just phenomenal. I mean, this dude forgot more shit than any of us would, all of us together would know. I mean, he was phenomenal, and he died tragically a few years ago. Ed and I used to watch him constantly. We loved him. We would just say, "Did you hear what Schnepp said yesterday?" Like we would just talk. We'd have the weekly, like, "What did Schnepp say this week? What did he do?" Like he was just so entertaining, and it was a tragedy to lose him. And But he was. You really should watch that documentary because it was really well done. And if you want to talk about a crazy fucking idea for a movie and what was going on with this film, oh my god, this thing is all over the place. It's all over the place. And they have. Well, he got interviews with everyone, with Tim Burton, Kevin Smith, and like the only one he didn't have was Nicolas Cage. Like he had everybody else. But he had the whole story. He had pictures, set photo, test footage with him in the suit. Oh, it's nuts. It's definitely worth watching. Definitely.
I'll tell you something. If the multiverse from The Flash were real, I would completely hunt down the timeline where that movie was made so I could see it. Like, that's what I would do with the multiverse. Like, I'd go and I'd see Back to the Future starring, who's the guy who they had before?
Oh, damn it. I forgot his name.
Oh God, the joke would have landed better if I could have remembered his name. But
is it DB Sweeney they wanted for that part?
Yes, it was. I think it was DB Sweeney.
DB Sweeney, I think they wanted for it. Oh, we could have had Iron Man with Tom Cruise.
We could have, and we also could have had Sylvester Stallone as Axel Foley, and another. Yes, that was also a thing.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I would watch that. I wouldn't watch the Tom Cruise Iron Man because.
I would watch the shit out of that. I would love to see.
I love Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise, but I don't know.
I love Tom Cruise, but no one replaces RDJ for me. So that's
I could agree with that.
No, I would just love to see what his take on Tony Stark would have been. I would pay money right now to see that shit.
I would pay money if his take was Len Grossman from Tropic Thunder, where he's
imagine. Oh my god. Bro,
yes.
Let me tell you something. The scene at the end of Tropic Thunder.
Oh, it's the best part of the movie, and that's a great movie.
That last scene where he's dancing by himself, that shit is so unbelievable. And
he steals the movie, and I love the movie. He steals every scene he's in.
Be honest with me.
He's so good.
When you saw that movie for the first time, how long did it take you to realize that was actually Tom Cruise?
Oh, it took me a while.
I was about 3 minutes into the scene. I'm like, holy shit, that's Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you a quick story. So my cousin, right, lives in California. He was a production assistant working on that movie. Okay, so when his daughter got married, we had flown out to California, and for the wedding, and so he had been in Hawaii, and he had flown back for the wedding as well. So we were at dinner or something like that. I said, "So what are you working on?" So he worked on like Stepford Wives and Die Hard films and so on and so forth. I said, "What are you working on?" He says, "Bro," he goes, "I am working on a movie that is absolutely hilarious." He says, "This is like the modern day Animal House," and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Bro," he goes, "Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black." He goes, Tom Cruise. He starts naming all of these characters. I go, oh my God. He goes, when this comes out, you have to watch this. It is so good. So I was like, all right. I was expecting. I'm like, I got high hopes. 5 minutes into that movie, bro, I was completely blown away. I'm like, this is unbelievable. He hit the nail on the head with this film.
I watched it all. I've never seen it. I'm in tears. There's only a handful of movies that can do that for me. But that is completely a movie. That movie, Airplane and Naked Gun, always will have me laughing.
Yep. You put that movie on whenever.
Yeah.
Put it on whenever you want, and you'll laugh your ass off. I love that movie.
So Jonathan, by the way, is jumping in. It was not DB Sweeney. It was Eric Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. Thank you, Jonathan.
Eric Stoltz.
Thank you, Eric Stoltz. I couldn't remember his name. I would completely go to the multiverse and watch Eric Stoltz mess that movie up.
Unrelated, but in the show Fringe, they did a joke where Eric Stoltz actually starred in a Back to the Future.
Did they?
Universe.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
I know Fringe did the joke that Ronald Reagan starred in Casablanca because that was another one. Like he was up for the part of Humphrey Bogart, but I didn't realize they did the Back to the Future Eric Stoltz thing. That's awesome. Fringe, great show. Fringe was a great show.
Okay. And we got Alex here, by the way. He wants to see the Granny Games. That would be a cool trivia episode.
The Granny Games.
I think we're gonna have to do an episode. I
like that.
Maybe post CW verse. Once that wraps up, we're gonna have some freedom. So,
like late summer, maybe we could pull that off.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we might want to get. We can come up with something. I think we got something there. A whole trivia episode. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be good.
Maybe we can get the other host involved.
That'd be awesome.
I think it'd be fun. We need to try to put this together, man. I'm digging it.
Yeah,
the Granny Games.
That's worth the conversation. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Right, let's get to our movie of the week.
Right.
We're going off the beaten path of non-DC or Marvel movies necessarily. So we're taking a look back at 2005's Frank Miller's Sin City, a movie that I watched a different cut of because I saw the original plenty of times, which I own on DVD, and I was like, I'm not going to watch the DVD thing. So I went to go buy it on Vudu because it wasn't available on any streaming service for free. Then I noticed there was a recut, unrated edition that was there, and I'm like, I gotta take a look at this. I didn't see it. You guys both saw the theatrical cut, right? Is that where we're going off of? Okay.
Yeah.
So I can just share the things that I noticed right off to the top that I can recall. And by the way, just off the top, a movie I really enjoy. I really liked Sin City. Still liked it. I think it still stands the test of time. That's 16 years ago. Jesus.
2005.
Yeah, that is an old. I know it's kind of nuts. Never saw the sequel. I know it's kind of shocking.
I don't think you're missing much there.
The sequel's boring. I saw the sequel, and we should actually cover it for the show because I think we should cover movies that we're not necessarily going to love because
that's where the fun
we don't want to be accused of being shills here. But
we've shit on plenty of stuff so far, bro. Let's rewind back to Wonder Woman 84. We've shit on plenty.
Fair enough. But I think ultimately it tries to recapture this movie and it fails. That's the sequel's problem.
Okay. But a movie I overall enjoy. But I think the biggest difference I noticed is only like 6 extra minutes in this unrated version and stuff like that. And the movie kind of like is gory in ways, and not really gory. I want to say it's bloody, but they since it's a black and white film, it takes like white blood a lot. Occasionally there's red blood, so it's very toned down in that sense. But it has title cards, the recut version, and they kind of, instead of jumping around, they put the stories like together. Like the opening story is all about like Clive Owen's character and the name of the town where they went to with the
Old Town.
Old Town, yeah. That whole story arc is the first thing, and it's all together. It doesn't jump around. That's where the movie opens, which I thought was kind of strange. And then the second one was briefly, very, very small. It was only like a couple of minutes. Was the cut of, damn it, what's the detective that's in it? No, not Bruce Willis. No. His whole arc with Jessica Alba and everything like that, that's at the end of the movie.
You don't see him in the beginning at all?
Nope, not at all. That's actually like at the end. Josh Hartnett's arc. He has a very small arc in the film, but that's like the second one. Okay. The third chapter is Marv and Goldie, that whole thing. And then the fourth one is, Bruce Willis and Jessica Alba. And it's called Yellow Rat Bastard is what they call the title that's right there. And that's how the movie's cut up, which I didn't mind necessarily. I'm like, go ahead.
How does that version end then? Because the way the theatrical ends is the Josh Hartnett's, the end of his small arc in the elevator. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing you see. So how does the one that you watched end?
It ends with Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis's character, he ends up dying at the end of it, and it kind of wraps it up, and that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Oh wow! I don't know if
there's a little post-mortem talk. Yeah, there's very little post-mortem talk after that, but that's how it goes. It's kind of a very different way to take it in because I noticed the title cards immediately, and that they were going for that. So if you want to look at it, it's a little bit more clean cut. If you kind of just want to follow individual stories, but I don't know. I didn't watch the original in quite some time, so I can't say which one I really liked more, but. The way, how does that? I mean, Jason, I know Tony. How does that sound to you? Like a different recut version, or do you kind of just prefer the current way that you like?
I prefer the current one. Part of what I like about this movie is the fact that you get all of these moving pieces, and like it's a vignette movie, but you see how all the vignettes are like. There's an arc, right? You start with Hartigan. Actually, you start with Josh Hartnett, but then there's Hartigan. And then, I like the jumping back and forth and then the resolution because it is all connected. I personally, having seen the theatrical one, I don't know if I would appreciate or if I would like it all sort of bunched up. It's kind of like taking Pulp Fiction and re-editing it so it's, in chronological order and doesn't jump around. And, it's kind of part of the fun for me.
Yeah, and I guess that's one thing that I can say that I was missing. I mean, it didn't ruin it for me. But I thought it was an interesting way to look at it. Tony, what did you think of Frank Miller's Sin City?
Uh, you know, I liked it better than I think I liked Dread. Because I told you that I had a little bit of an issue with the the over the top kind of gore that we went through with Dread.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't bother me as much in this movie. I don't know if it was the noir kind of way that it was shot in black and white with the different just with the different colors. But first of all, I'll tell you that the way this film is shot is unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
Like
it looks beautiful.
The camera angles and just like when they're looking up and there's a scene where where the camera is looking up at Bruce Willis and that you're seeing it as from the view of the guys on the ground. Like it's shot so well. I like the the additions of the colors where the accented, and I mean this movie is like if you were to write a manuscript on how you would take a graphic novel and make it into a movie, this is the picture perfect way to do it. And I think the first time I watched it, first time I watched it was really about, I heard it was good and everything like that. And I watched it. And I'm like, this movie's fucking crazy. Like, the dialogue. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, I feel like I'm in the 20s here watching, and then after I did the research, I see Robert Rodriguez, which I know he's got a different way of doing things or whatever. And then I didn't realize this at the time, but I didn't realize that Tarantino kind of worked with him on this. And I'm like, after watching it, I'm like, I totally get this now, because this has got Tarantino's hands like all over it. Like, just the way the story is and the way it kind of interweaves and all the different stories. It's a really, really interesting movie and how it's shot. And and you could tell, Tarantino definitely directed a couple of scenes here and there, but you could see his influence on this film. But overall, I mean, once I got to know that it was taken directly from the source material, and it was really, really well done that way, you can kind of appreciate it. And I can't imagine it being better than what I currently watched. If it's cut a different way, this movie was done really well, and the way that they did it and the way it's been released, I can't imagine it being any better than what I saw of it.
So I think it's interesting too that you mentioned Tarantino's involvement in it, because the movie was technically officially co-directed by Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez, who I personally like, a fan of. I love I love Desperado. I love Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Mm-hmm. and those films. I'm a huge fan of that. And also I like his what was it, Planet Terror? That was his Halford Grindhouse.
That's great. I think that's really fun.
No, I think it's a lot of fun. I even like his Predators, that sequel that he did with Adrian Brody. If you're a fan of Predator, you should check that out, because it's one of the Predator sequels that a lot of them get shit on. That's the one that's kind of like highly underrated. I'm not saying it's fantastic, but it's an interesting thing that Robert Rodriguez directed, and he's also a huge fan of the original. But Frank Miller, though, he wrote a script for RoboCop 2, which I despise. But Frank Miller, though, wrote he wrote a script for it where he was getting his hands into Hollywood, and then all of a sudden he was kind of shit on it. He saw what they did to his script and completely flipped it inside out. And he was like, screw this, I'm not messing with Hollywood forever. But then they were able to go ahead and to bring him back. And, for this film, they were like, all right, you can co-direct, and you can actually see your vision be translated on screen. So which got him on board, to kind of like, all right, I can kind of trust Hollywood and trust they're not going to bastardize like scripts that I write for them. So I think that's an interesting thing to that. Interesting story behind behind the scenes thing to this film.
It would also make a lot of sense why the source material, why the cinematic version was literally like right off the pages of the book. So I mean, it was they really did give him carte blanche if that's the case.
They did.
They did to get him out there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I've read A Dame to Kill For, which is I believe that's what the Marv story is called. And I read it like shortly after seeing the movie. And the look of it, the look of the character, the story, the dialogue, like it really is like one of the most faithful adaptations of like any comic book I've ever seen. Like it literally is like they've just taken the printed page and sort of somehow animated it with living beings. Like the only way I could describe this. It's not a cartoon, but it's not live action. It's animated with living beings, and I think it's just such
somewhere in between. Exactly,
Yes.
it's somewhere in between. Yep,
and I think it
I
really
agree.
works for this source material, and it really works for the story.
Yeah, Marv is my favorite character in the
beautiful.
film. By the way,
I have an
Marv is
action figure
awesome.
of Marv.
Hands
I have an
down,
action figure of
Marv.
Marv.
Yeah.
No, Marv is fantastic. Look, Artigan was great too. I mean,
Artigan was really good too. Bruce Willis actually acting.
I was gonna say it's
Mm-hmm.
rare for the past 15, 16, maybe 20 years to see Bruce Willis give a damn, but he does in this. Like Bruce Willis is one of those guys is when he cares, he knocks it out of the park. But when he doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
it's sleeping old man Bruce Willis.
It's mail it in, baby. Mail it in.
It's
I mean,
he's
I'm
Die
good
Hard
in this.
5 Bruce Willis.
let me tell you something. I'm
God.
a huge Clive Owen fan. I love Clive Owen. Children of
He's
Men,
awesome. I like it.
you know, Inside
Great
Man.
movie.
Like I love Clive Owen. And in this film, for him to be number 3 on my list is that's crazy. Because I'm not a huge Mickey Rourke guy. I mean, I respect his talent, but you know, I'm not a huge Mickey Rourke guy. But he blows it away in this movie. I mean, Marv is hands down is phenomenal.
Yeah, no, Mickey Rourke is fantastic, and was it Mio?
And the cast, yes, and the cast in this movie is unbelievable. I mean,
the cast is amazing.
There are so. I mean, look, bro. How can you got a movie? You got Powers Booth and Rutger Hauer. I mean, it's like a, it's like a who's who of straight to video '80s movies. I mean, come on, bro. That's great.
And they play brothers.
Yeah, no, they do play brothers.
Sorry, Eddie. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say is it was kind of like a smack in the face though when I noticed Brittany Murphy, Michael Clark Duncan in the film, and I'm like, holy shit!
R.I.P. Yeah,
unfortunately not with us anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, that really.
Michael Clark Duncan is really good in this.
He really is.
He really is good in this. Like Brittany Murphy's good, but Michael Clark Duncan for me, it was like, wow, I forget how talented this guy was.
Yeah, he was the best part of Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
but think about this. Think about how many of people how many characters, how many actors in this movie went on to other small comic book films, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not films, but characters, right? Powers Booth. Powers Booth was in The Winter Soldier.
He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, he's part of the council. Rutger Hauer goes on to be in Batman Begins. Right?
Goes on to do Hobo with a Shotgun.
Hobo with a Shotgun, yep.
Oh my God.
I've seen that. You're so lucky we're not covering that.
But thank you. All right, so here's the best one. Carla Gugino, who has a wonderful she has just a wonderful presence in this movie. If you have not seen this movie, you should go and see it just for her. But she was in 2 different DCEU movies. She was in Man of Steel, and she was also in Justice League. She plays the voice of the ship, of Superman's ship. That is her voice.
I did not know that.
Really?
I did not know that.
Yes, because I saw it in the credits, and I'm like, I know that chick. Where do I know her from? Because she was in San Andreas with The Rock, and now I went back. She was also in
Watchmen, right?
She's been in so many freaking movies, bro. Her IMDb is like that long. She has been in and stuff that you've seen over and over again. She's been in so many different things. So, but yes, she was in Entourage. She was in all. Like I said, she had the cameo and the voiceovers in those movies. She was in Watchmen. She was in this movie. She's been in a lot of stuff. And it's a name. You're like, who's that? I think I know who that is. But she's been in a lot of stuff. But yeah, when I saw that, I remember it seen from the movie. But when I saw her in this movie again, and it just brought it all back because I completely had forgotten about it.
So one scene I forgot about, by the way, that I noticed this time around, and I'm hoping this is in the I don't remember this being a theatrical cut, but when Mihao goes ahead and sends the note, by the way, she puts that arrow through that like Nazi-looking guy.
Oh, that
goes
guy
right through his chest, and there's a note for someone else, and they're reading off of it.
Hysterical, and he's just like, "Oh, well, I've got an arrow here. Help? Gonna help me here?"
That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. I totally forgot about that scene until seeing it again. And I thought there was one thing that I thought was kind of nuts. There is an insane amount of threats or actual castrations in this film.
Absolutely.
It is never ending.
This movie, there are 2 things. Like, this movie's definitely like a testosterone, a dick movie, you know? Because there's misogyny in this movie. We have to admit that. I still enjoy the movie, but there's some real misogyny, and the fact that you're right, everything is like castration. Someone gets shot in the balls, someone gets their dick cut off, so this and that. It's like
all the time.
Whoa.
Well, you have a hooker death squad in this movie, of course. Oh my god, bro!
It is a wild film, man. But I really think it definitely holds up after 16 years. If you guys do get a chance, I don't know if it's on the editions that you own. If there is the recut version that's on there, check it out. I mean, it might be.
You have to check that out.
Check it out. I mean, if you want, give it a watch and see what you think of it. I mean, it just kind of reshuffles the stuff around.
If I have it on my the DVD, I will watch it. But I was watching it last night. I almost texted you guys. I said, no, I'll save this for the show. But I forget. So, you know, I used to be a heavy cigarette smoker, right? Ed, you know this about me because, you know, we've been friends for a long time. But at this point, I haven't smoked in forever. Like I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. But there are certain movies that just make me want a cigarette.
Oh my god, yes.
And I'm watching this movie. This is one of them. Yes. And like everyone's lighting up, and I'm just sitting there, and like I haven't had a cigarette in years, and I'm just like, oh man, wouldn't that be great just to have a cigarette? And then the scene comes on between Clive Owen and the dead body of Benicio del Toro, where they have that discussion about the cigarette. Benicio's like, well, you know what they say. I mean, no one really quits. I mean, once you're a smoker, you're always a smoker. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, that's so true. Because here I am so many years after having my last cigarette. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, I just want a cigarette watching this movie.
There are exactly, you could not have hit the nail on the head any better with this, bro. There are scenes or there are movies where you see it and you could have not even been thinking about it or seen or been around it at all and be like, all of a sudden, like, yo, that looked good. I like to have one of those right about now. Like I'm telling you, it has happened. It has happened to me over. It used to happen to me a lot during the Sopranos. They'd have like the scenes where they, you know, be sitting and just having a drink and it'd be like, God, I wish I was doing that shit right now. That looks really good. I feel you. That's dead on accurate.
And I gotta say though, that's one thing that I never got into. I've never smoked.
Good on you.
I've not smoked tobacco.
Okay.
I've not smoked tobacco.
Okay.
Weed's a different story.
Yes.
But I think it's
legal now.
No, I don't care. I'm not like trying to not. Even if they're not
going to be knocking on your door today. So
I don't care about that. It's just simply like just the tobacco thing. I don't know. It's just like the smell of it on clothes and stuff, and like in bars and everything. I just remember that like when we first started like really going to like Captain Jackson shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Walk in and smell the cigarettes. And someone who doesn't smoke, you're like, it smacks you in the face, and you're like, oh God, no.
You know, but what the problem is that by the time you realize that it smells like shit is by the time you're already hooked.
Yeah.
And then you're like, God, this is so good. This is so great. You know, like it really, it's the thing with me is that I never felt like I was like addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta have one. You know, like I never felt like that. To me, it was like I just enjoyed it. Like you just get into the habit of it. It's like it's kind of nice and whatnot, or whatever. But then once you're out of it, it's like yeah, I'm done. I don't need to do it anymore. You know, and you could pick it up tomorrow and then just, you know, like that's the end of it. If there was nothing deadly about it, I mean, I probably would do it again in a minute, you know, because it's just a joy. You know, you're having a bad day. It's like, what, the house is on fire. Right? Get the kids. Yeah, come on, let's go. Like, it's just, you relax. You're like, oh, good. That's what I'm saying. When you work in a restaurant, right? Like, it's like everybody wanted to work in the smoking section because those people were always like, you know, you bring the drink. Yeah, here you go. Have another tip. You know, it's like the people, they were cool. They were relaxed. It was the uptight people that didn't smoke. That's you don't want to work with them. So, but it's, it really, it's actually comical. But if we're actually, I just, because I missed last week, I wanted to hear your thoughts real quick on Falcon Winter Soldier. If it's just nothing crazy, just like a quick, like, you know, how much did you love that last episode? Like, you know, I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about it.
Well, Tony, if you want to know our thoughts on the show, I can refer to Granny's Peach Tea episode. No.
You can refer everybody that's listening to it. This is me. This is me that we're talking about.
I'm sorry, you walked right into that. I mean,
I know. It's all good. It's all good.
All right.
I love you. I still love you.
No, we loved it. I mean, come on, we ate it up. Comparative episodes. I mean, I don't know. I think episodes 4 and 5. If I had to pick one as the strongest episode, I would say that. But I think it wrapped all the storylines up pretty neatly. It did touch on all of them. Nothing was there. The Sharon is the power broker. We called it on this show. We talked about it, so that's not like that was anything shocking. We got to see U.S. Agent get his costume official. The Captain America, Sam Wilson's Captain America, comics accurate, fantastic thing. And the way they showed him fight and everything like that, because he doesn't have the super soldier serum, so they showed him with the wings and stuff. I think Jason and I agreed. We both loved the way that it kind of like balances, it evens the playing field as he's fighting super soldiers, picked up the truck and all of that shit. It was really awesome, man. It was just a perfect way to end that. And we're just cannot wait to see, because they announced that there'll be a new Captain America movie with Sam Wilson in, which we're guessing is going to be called Captain America Sam Wilson, as the other movies were Captain America First Avenger, Captain America The Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War. So it seems like it would fall in line with that. I thought it was great. Zemo had his Alfred blow up, the rest of the Flag Smashers. That was cool. And Rick was right. Zemo will dance again at some point, I'm sure. And maybe in a movie on the big screen we can get that. Even though even in a way I kind of hope that if they do acknowledge it, it's very quick, because I think if you overdo it, this is the thing where you can kind of overdo it and make it stupid now. You kind of got to be very careful if you're going to have Zemo dance again.
Have to see that again. No question.
And the setups that are there for potential Dark Avengers or potential Thunderbolts film, they're all laid out there. So yeah, I mean, overall, I was very happy with the way they needed it. They neatly tied it all up. The 6 episodes were a tight, storytelling arc that was there. Yeah, I have no complaints about it. I got no gripes.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm a shill also, so that's why.
I want to be a shill, as I said.
We're well versed in your shillness, so don't worry about it.
Exactly. I just want to remind you before
you have a dog named Marvel, so I would think that that's well versed at this point.
Well, it was a nice check that I got from Kevin Feige for that. So
and you could thank Faraci for that too, I'm assuming. So
exactly, he got his cut too.
Yeah, good. I'm assuming, Jason, you felt pretty much the same.
Oh
way?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on, of course it was great.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna love it.
I love the suit. I thought it was great. I love the that it's vibranium, but it's not it's not identical to a Black Panther or or a suit like that, like out of vibranium. So he's got the protection that he needs. It's going to make sense. He's not he doesn't they didn't give him the super soldier serum, which is right. Just the way it's constructed is fantastic. I love that fact that it definitely came from Shuri. So, that'll probably have some type of, lead into somewhere else down the line. And he fits the part, bro. He really did. Like, this has been building up since we at the end of Endgame, and he's been waiting. We thought he was going to be in that suit for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, he's in the whole episode, which is wonderful. And he took the reins the same way that he took the reins in the show. He took the reins of anybody that was watching the show that was wondering whether or not Anthony Mackie was going to be able to be Captain America. And after that episode, I had no questions whatsoever that this guy's going to be great in this role. And I love the way that they tied him and Bucky together. I like the fact that Walker came in and kind of got part of the whole thing, even after all that other bullshit. He came in and he's part of the plan and part of the solution, and it worked out really well. And the show was great. I mean, it was completely different than WandaVision, but I absolutely enjoyed every episode, and I look forward to Anthony Mackie moving on and being Captain America going forward.
Yeah, and we got two things here things that we talked about last episode. Jonathan's, I wish they would have had the title at the end, Captain America and the White Wolf in the credits. That's Jason and I mentioned that. And I actually think that the writer of the show, who's also going to be writing the film, he also had mentioned that he didn't see that title that came out this week. He didn't see that title until he was watching a screening of it. And he was kind of annoyed himself that they didn't change, because Bucky has left the Winter Soldier behind him.
And he is now the White Wolf.
Yeah, or or it could have just been, hey, and Bucky. Captain
Yeah.
America and Bucky is the thing from the comics. So if they wanted to
Right.
go that route, they could have. But it would have been cool to see him, and I hope he does go by the White Wolf moniker, because I think that's actually sounds pretty badass, and it's brought up in his series multiple times.
Yes, it
Alex
is. I love
the
Winter White Wolf.
The Winter White Wolf. I love the fact when he said it, it's White Wolf, and Sam was like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. Like
he was like, "What was that?" No, there was some great, it's such great chemistry, and they're really good friends. Those guys. So I mean, if you've ever seen them together doing interviews, they're fantastic, especially when they're ganging up on Tom Holland. It's always great. So, but it was really well done, and Marvel did a great job with the show, and I'm looking forward to finally getting to Loki and then Black Widow right after.
Yeah, and then when we were talking earlier, we had a whole conversation about what if, like that. I need a release
what
date
if?
for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I need a release date for that.
Yep. Yeah, I think they said it was supposed to come out like late summer, so maybe like August, which would make sense because that's before it'll be after Black Widow, before Shang-Chi, and after Loki, so it would make sense because that'll get us to Loki, Black Widow, What If, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and then we'll be, and then are we supposed to get? Are we supposed to get
Hawkeye and Miss Marvel this year?
Oh, Miss Marvel is this year? I thought
Miss Marvel and Hawkeye are supposed to be this year.
So imagine it's June, July, August, September, October, November, December, because you're going to get Eternals and Spider-Man like back to back. I don't even know how they're doing that. I have no idea how they're going to release a movie like Eternals, which they spent a ton of money on.
Yeah.
And I know they're spending a ton of money on Spider-Man, and they're coming out within 6 weeks of each other.
Well, I mean, I think they're figuring the box office will start to slow down after the first 3 or 4 weeks, and maybe it could rev back up for those fans to want to go and see again. Yeah, I'm hoping it isn't, cannibalizing the other one, which we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
But also remember, though, Sony is actually the ones who are benefiting from Spider-Man No Way Home. Technically, that's their movie, so they're probably like, whatever.
No, but I thought Disney and Marvel Disney and Sony had a more of a 50-50 split on that now.
Box office wise, I'm not 100%. I think they were still a little vague on some of the details. You could be right, though.
And let's be clear, the Eternals is not going to cannibalize a Spider-Man movie. Like they could drop them within a week of each other, and people are going to see Spider-Man.
Oh, I think it's the other way. I think it's the other way around. That's my point.
Okay.
I think that
but that's why they're dropping Eternals.
No,
they're dropping Eternals first, right? Because that way people will go see Eternals. I don't think it's going to detract. I think because people are going to see Spider-Man no matter what. If Eternals comes out first, I think people will go see that as well. Like
Spider-Man's the bigger IP than Eternals.
I think they're doing it this way for continuity reasons. I don't think they're doing it because I just think that they need to have them out, and I think that they want to have Spider-Man. They don't want to drop Spider-Man in January or February, which is like dead season for movies. But people who haven't gone to see a movie in 18 months, I think people will go see anything at this point. So I'm not even think that's going to be a problem. But they don't want to drop it then, and then right away they go back in March, right? What do they have another? They have
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so Doctor Strange is going to come out. They just there's no time. They have to. So I think the continuity Eternals has to come first, and I think that and I just think that they have to do it in November because that was the date that they had Park. So it's November, December. So it's November 3rd, I think, and then December 17th.
Yeah, it sounds.
So it's like 6. I think it's like 6 weeks. It's crazy that they're literally right on top of each other.
Yeah, that's another thing. Before we sign off, I wanted to ask you guys about what if Black Widow never got delayed?
Yeah,
it would also be what if we didn't have a global pandemic either. So I mean, if we can play the what if game a lot over the last year and change.
Al, let's go to the multiverse and find out. Come on, we gotta harness the Speed Force and go to the multiverse.
We're less than a year away from a confirmed multiverse movie. You realize that?
Yeah, and with a certain 1989 Batman, being coming back and everything like that. Oh no, I'm sorry, you're talking about Doctor Strange.
There's only been innuendo, and there's only been innuendo about Far From Home having a multiverse kind of a flair to it, and that came out today with that you posted about Andrew Garfield saying no. Which look, I honestly don't believe anybody until I see that shit for real because people lie. They get paid a lot of money to lie. Is what they do for a living. They pretend.
If you're denying things at this point, we're not going to buy it. But I will believe if you confirm it, like Alfred Molina flat out confirmed it.
Yeah.
And said he's been in scenes, and even Zendaya was like, she loves filming scenes with Alfred Molina. So I mean, that one's pretty much done.
Yeah.
So
Molina and oh, I'm sorry, who was the other one? Also, it was Molina. Oh, and Jamie Foxx with Electro.
Which I haven't heard a peep out of in a little while, though. No one's mentioned the word about him in a little bit. I'm sure he's in the movie. I'm not denying that he's in the movie, but I'm just saying is that there hasn't been any updates in a bit.
I thought it was confirmed that he was in the movie, wasn't it?
No, he's essentially confirmed it, but they haven't. I'm sure they also would like to. Kevin Feige is probably like, listen, guys, keep this damn thing on the wraps. We want something. I know this got out there, but we got to kind of chill out a little bit,
Yeah. These people play make believe for a living. I don't believe anything they say when they're on TV. So,
yeah, no, for sure. Well, all right. Well, why don't we go ahead and wrap this one up? Thanks for joining us this week. We had a blast as always. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode. We will be sharing what it is because we actually haven't announced what movie we're going to be talking about next week. Since we're going all over the place.
What's that movie, Ed? What are we announcing that movie now?
Oh wait, yeah, actually, maybe we did. All right.
I don't think we've announced it yet.
No, we haven't announced it, but I just wanted between us, I don't think we did, but I guess we do have our movie then, Jason, because there's no discussion to have now. Next week, if you want to join us, we will be talking about a Marvel movie. We'll be talking about a pre-MCU Marvel movie.
Oh, boy.
A certain movie from 1994. Called Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Yes, we will be talking about Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. Now, if you're a fan of this stuff and you want to watch this, the movie was never actually released. But you can go on YouTube and you can have the full movie for free because it is on there. The quality is horrible. I'll let you know that now. And I'm not talking about the special effects and I'm not talking about anything like that. The visual quality of the movie is not very good. Because, again, this movie was never officially released.
I remember being in high school and going to Midtown Comics, and you could buy the bootleg VHS. It was like buying drugs. Like you put it in the paper bag, and there you go. It's like
me and Tim went to Midtown Comics so many times when we talked about splitting it and buying it, and we could never bring ourselves to do it. But then in Georgia, me and Rick actually watched it. We watched there when I was there a couple of weeks ago. We watched it, and boy, are you guys in for a treat. So, you don't have to pay any money for it.
I'm going to go on record as saying that I think this is going to be my second favorite Fantastic Four movie.
I'm going to try to save my comments on that for next week because I have my beliefs in it already.
And you've seen it. I haven't seen it. So that's why I'm saying this sight unseen. I've never seen it before. I think it's going to be my second favorite Fantastic Four movie.
I think that is a possibility.
I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid.
Wow. So we're going to be talking about that one. So we are going to jump into it's actually our first Marvel movie we're going to be talking about here on Granny's Peach Tea. And we're going to start off with the 1994 Roger Corman Fantastic Four. And
this is how we choose to start off you doing Marvel movies, is one that they wouldn't even release.
It was me, and also, guys, I would suggest watching the documentaries I'm going to. It's called Doomed, and it's about the making of this and everything. So the movie
is that on Netflix?
I'll send it to you guys in the text. I'm not actually sure what it's on. It's on one of the streamers. But before we sign off, though, Jonathan Hamilton should do 1990 Captain America. Guess what, Jonathan? We are going to do 1990 Captain America. I don't know if it's going to be the week after that, but we're going to be doing it very soon. So strap in, guys, because we are going to be doing some crazy Marvel movies coming up. Yes, Captain America and then Captain America. So, yes, Tony, enjoy that. I want you. I can't wait till we text about that because I know you're not going to be able to hide your excitement for Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
You guys,
I am very excited.
You don't even know what you're in for because I'm going to be texting you during this whole thing. I'm going to be like, I cannot wait. This is going to be something else.
And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna see what Rick's doing next week. I'm gonna see if he's able to join us because he has also watched it. So
let's get Rick on the show.
Let's see what we can do. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us all over wherever it is. Check out Jada and Kyle are on tonight. They're going to be talking about The Mask. So be sure to check them out. They'll have a guest as well. I know Just Too Sweet. No, A to Z is on tomorrow since he's moving off the Monday slot just for this week. Next week, he'll be back on a Monday. Empire 161. If you're a Yankees fan, you can check us out. We're trying to figure out exactly which date to land on, but we're working on a show, a next episode pretty soon. If you're into wrestling, Just Too Sweet is on Tuesdays, so you can check them out. And that's pretty much that. So, you guys got any quick things to say before we sign off?
Pray for us.
Into the Phantom Zone we go, guys. And much like Kara Danvers, we're never coming back.
I was going to say, I think the money's on us to get out of the Phantom Zone before Kara does. So
you may be right.
Everyone stay safe out there. Enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Later, guys.